we have so many publicly funded things that just don't people don't talk about because what is there to say about public roads? They're a public good. Of course, we need them. You don't want to pay a toll every time you turn down a different street.
Yeah.
But if we had private roads and someone suggested, maybe the public should own roads and, the upkeep should be paid for with tax dollars, chances are you'd be attacked as a radical leftist socialist.
But then again, if you actually wanted to follow the idea of capitalism, I should start up a business and, on every street corner, you just have to pay me, 50 cents just to take a left turn.
Yeah, that's private enterprise, that's the lifeblood of this country.
Now, obviously, though, that is a little bit of an extreme example on the subject, but that's also where I can also stem into the idea of like something that actually was pretty much in jeopardy of becoming something like that, with the idea of Title II regulations that was slashed by Ajit Pai.
Oh, that scumbag.
That name just like
that old so and so.
It gives me like Vietnam flashbacks.
But
I can't get that picture of him out of my head. The one where he's dressed as Santa and he has the fidget spinner.
Oh.
How do you do, fellow kids? I also like fidget spinners and having to pay for faster internet for specific websites.
But yeah, exactly that kind of idea. It's just that without those Title II regulations, you can, in a sense, basically... In fact, we're already seeing it, actually. We already have that exact thing. Because Charter is now coming out with, at least people in my area, you can pay for 100 megabits, 200 megabits, 500 megabits.
And in my area, you can pay for 2 megabit, 3 megabit, or 4 megabit.
Yeah, my friend actually...
Laughs in 300 megabit.
Yeah, my friend actually has a 200 megabit plan. I am kind of stuck with the, air quotes, default plan of 100 megabits. Granted, that's all right internet. That's completely fine internet.
That's amazing internet. Compared
it's
to mine.
The idea of that people can get ahead by paying more.
Yeah, and I think the whole net neutrality issue isn't just about paying more for faster speeds. It's about certain websites being able to charge more for faster speeds, or more specifically, throttling certain sites that the ISP doesn't like. So let's just say Comcast doesn't like a certain independent media outlet. They can throttle their speeds, and you're given less incentive to go to that. Or let's just say you have an ISP that's partnered with Netflix, and they want to say, all right, Hulu, you get slower speeds. Now, on Hulu or any other streaming service, you can stream up to 480p, but Netflix, you can stream 1080p or 4K if you wanted to.
Yeah, because it's like the idea of like, if that website never loads, the person will just end up clicking off eventually. But if you have also lower video quality, you're less inclined to go to website A versus website B, which has full quality.
And this is where piracy comes in. I feel like America needs to focus on, at least for internet, they need to focus on getting fast internet in actual areas before they start, actually charging people for specific services for internet. Because I think a big majority of Benzie County, where we live at, or where I live at, hardly has good internet.
In general, the US should treat the internet as now an almost necessary utility.
It is pretty much
just
essential
like
nowadays.
Especially in the new normal, these uncertain times, internet access is an essential part of getting to work for some people.
Yeah, exactly. Like with my college class this semester, it's completely online right now. If I had terrible internet connection, I probably wouldn't be able to even attend my classes.
Yeah. Now, Benzie, as a district, did do certain things to sort of facilitate online learning. Like, if you requested it, you could take home a Chromebook, and I think that they were giving out some like either they were like portable hotspots or like tablets that had like 4G, which is definitely, that's a step in the right direction, but it's not enough. And I don't blame Benzie as a district for not going far enough. There just needs to be more investment in broadband for rural areas.
Right.
And for poorer families that have students, it needs to be, you need to be able to access subsidized internet plans. And I think I go farther with that than most people are willing to. So you have full permission to call me a dirty socialist.
Well, I think you have a lot of say in that because you had terrible internet for pretty much your entire time when you were at Benzie.
Yeah. The best I ever got was like a megabyte and a half download speeds. Very high latency. I
think that's better than mine. Because mine is like 700 kilobit download speed, but I have relatively low latency. Because yours was satellite, right? Yours was HughesNet.
Yeah, it was HughesNet.
Yeah, so
yeah, your 700 kilobit. That's actually close. That's actually closer to what I had day to day. It actually got a lot lower than that too, though. It just depended on
the day.
Yeah, it depended on the day. It depended on if someone else was streaming something. Yeah, it basically tanks the bandwidth if you have, like one or two devices streaming something.
Well, that's how it is with me. Whenever I'm downloading something, or especially like uploading or live streaming, it's like literally impossible to use the internet.
Yeah, and now imagine you have that kind of connection, but you're a student or you're a parent of a student, elementary, middle school, high school, whatever it may be, and there's a pandemic going on, and your kid has to get to class. In-person school is either shut down or you don't feel it's safe to go in person. There is an option for joining a Zoom call for all the classes, but your connection just isn't good enough.
Okay, this I can kind of comment on. So I have, so I've been, trying to do certifications in college and all that other kind of stuff. So one of the certifications that I need to take is my network. And they said, yeah, you can take your network exam online. I'm like, cool, perfect. And they're like, there's like this test, test example exam. And so I load it up and it's like download speed good, microphone input good, webcam good, upload speed not good for internet. You cannot take the exam. So I'm completely screwed. And I paid like $100 for this exam voucher at college.
Yeah, and
so I'm completely screwed out of that.
And so now you have to rely on either sitting outside in the school parking lot using their Wi-Fi, or going like to the library or something, sitting out in the parking lot to use their Wi-Fi. But even then, you have to depend on either being able to drive there, having a car to get there, or your parent driving you there.
Or it being open.
Yeah.
Because I can go to the testing center in Traverse City and do my test there, but they're closed down.
Yeah. I mean, you can still like sit outside of the library and use their Wi-Fi there, but you have to either have a car to get there, or your parent has to be able to take you, or I guess ride the bus there. But we're in a pandemic. Who wants to ride public transportation, especially if half the people, at least in Benzie County, don't want to wear a mask?
Right. And another thing is with a lot of these like proctored exams online, they're all, oh yeah, we're going to monitor everything. We want to monitor your webcam and, everything that, and we can't have any movement in the background. So if you're sitting outside taking a test, if the trees are going to move in the background, it's going to cancel your test and give you a fail right there.
So wait, no movement?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like no movement. You can't go outside of the, oh, here, you know what? Let me pull it up, because I sent it to one of my friends and I told them that this was absolutely ridiculous. I gotta find them now.
What happens if you have to like stretch?
Uh,
Your SOL.
your SOL.
So you have to sit perfectly still for the entire exam.
Pretty much. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I took a screenshot of it. So during the exam, the following will be restricted. Your browser will be in full screen mode during the exam, preventing you from opening any other programs. If you leave the exam, it'll end automatically. Any loss of network connectivity in the exam will end automatically. Please make sure your connection is stable during the entire exam. Your
Just like have a good connection.
Yeah, just have a good connection. Just live in a city and just have a good connection. Your clipboard will be disabled during the exam. Copy and paste functions will not work, and your current clipboard will be emptied. Once your exam is submitted, the browser cache will be cleared. You will not be able to begin the exam until you disconnect additional screens or monitors. You will not be allowed to open new tabs or windows during the exam. You will not allowed to be able to print the exam. You will not be allowed to download or save any external files during the exam. Your following information will be collected during your exam: your webcam, your physical location, your clipboard, your mouse location, your browser size, your browser tabs and windows, your head movements, your eye movements, your mouth movements, your entire screen, any website that you visit, any other applications running, and number of display and number of displayed screen connected. The results of your actions may result in policy violations at this institution's discretion. And that is why I hate Proctors Exams.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms that it would give me a headache to dig into everything that's wrong with that. But yeah, definitely.
I understand why they do it, so that people don't cheat, but that's little excessive.
Yeah, you shouldn't be punished for not being able to afford fast internet or living in an area where it's not available.
Yeah, because actually one of my friends didn't even get internet until like last month, because it's just stupid with the idea of he's literally on the border of two ISPs and they didn't want to touch him because it was controversy of where exactly he was.
Yeah, I had a similar issue at my house in Benzie, where like Charter's service ended like a mile down the road, so we couldn't get Charter. And for a while, like the only services we could get was like satellite stuff, like DishNet or HughesNet. We were gonna try to get Eclipse, which is a local ISP in Benzie, but we couldn't. They didn't have enough room on one of their towers, and the other one we couldn't get enough a strong enough signal on. So really, we had next to no options. Like even just trying, like I was visiting last weekend, and we were trying to watch a movie that I PA'd for last year.
Wait, hold on. You were visiting last weekend?
I was.
Dude, why didn't you tell me?
I was going to, but I mean, we were only visiting our families, so.
Oh, okay. It was just a real quick thing.
Yeah,
okay.
We were there like we got there very late Friday night, and then we were there Saturday, and then we left Sunday early afternoon.
Okay, never mind. That's understandable. Whatever. It's all good, man.
Yeah. But yeah, even trying to watch a movie on Amazon Prime with HughesNet's connection, we would watch like a minute of it, then it would buffer for a minute, then a minute of it would play, then it would buffer. It was it took a lot of patience. It took probably 2 hours to get through this hour and 20-minute movie.
And this is why you just make yourself a Plex server.
Oh yeah, I had to do that. Even movies that are like on Netflix or on Disney Plus or what have you. If I had it on DVD, I had to rip it to my computer to be able to stream it. Like some services are better than others, like in terms of like the bandwidth that they take up. Like YouTube and Netflix are pretty good on a low bandwidth connection. Hulu is a little bit worse, but it's still usable. Disney Plus, probably a step down from Hulu. But yeah, definitely Amazon Prime is the worst for a low bandwidth connection.
Well, I think they hardly put anything into that portion because not a whole lot of people use Amazon Prime Video anyhow.
Yeah.
My
The
knowledge.
entirety of the Amazon Prime Video budget just goes to The Boys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's hardly anything.
Which,
And, like,
which by the way, talking to you guys and the listeners, watch The Boys. It's so good.
I've thought about it. Michael Reeves made me want to watch
baby
The
go
Boys.
burr.
Baby go burr. And that's based off of like a comic book series, right?
Yeah.
But you don't need to have any knowledge of the comics. Or the
No.
characters.
I went in blind. You can still follow the whole thing. Any references to the comics are going to be subtle, so yeah, you can go in completely blind and still be able to follow.
Okay, poggers.
But yeah, that's definitely though why I would say the internet just needs to be regulated as like a public utility that is almost like a must like power and just made available to everyone.